us, subscribe, share. Those are the three things we ask you. Doesn't cost you doesn't cost you it's free. Doesn't cost you anything, but it means a hell of a lot to us. Please do subscribe, like, share.
And who do we have?
Our next guest for Real Deal Sports Show is, pronounce your name before I'm ready.
Vashti
Hurt, and she's with Carolina Blitz. And can you tell us about what is Carolina Blitz?
Carolina Blitz is my baby, right? So I was a stockbroker, but I love sports, and I started Carolina Blitz probably about 7 years ago as a one-man band. Now we have a staff of about 6 or 7, and we cover the Carolina Panthers, Duke, UNC, NC State. So we bring a fresh and kind of like a cool perspective to sports in the Carolinas.
Now, what got you interested in the sports, and how was that growing up?
I played sports,
Gotcha.
so always
what did you
involved. I was a hooper and I did track.
Okay.
So
You look like a sprinter. Or you did
I wasn't a sprinter.
Did you do
I did field events.
shot put and discus?
More like, so I was never good at shot put. It required too much strength. I was more power, so like weight throw, that kind of stuff.
Oh,
so
right.
that required explosiveness.
Right, I know that's she's covering the game because she's been there.
Yeah.
And what's your take on the Carolina Panthers currently? The state of the Carolina Panthers.
It's a mess. So y'all see it. I've been covering the Panthers for 5-6 years.
Wow.
I'm now on my 4th coach of trying to get to know. So I was there for the end of Rivera, then Matt Rule years, 1 year with Reich, and now Canales. So we'll see. I was there for the introductory presser. They also had a little kind of meet and greet for us on the beat to get to know them on a more personal side. He's young, he's energetic, seems very personable. I'm curious how that will relate to the current players in the locker room, and see how he can gather those. But a big thing that they were able to do is retain Ejiro Evero, who was a defensive coordinator, who also was hiring. I think there were other teams who wanted him to be their defensive coordinator there. I think Seattle was one of them. But he had a couple of head coaching jobs. He'll be a hot name if the Panthers continue to be a top 10 defense. He'll be another hot name again next year. But to have that continuity on that side of the ball, with how they played last year, very, very important. So I think that honestly, as an incoming first-time head coach, that was very big for him to be able to keep Evero and have that stabilization on the defensive side of the ball, which far outperformed offensive.
Absolutely.
Happy about that. And of course, I have to get your analysis with the draft coming up. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud taking off and doing his thing, doing a phenomenal job. Yeah. Now Bryce Young obviously doesn't have the support around him in regards to the talent in the field. Probably the 32nd ranked offensive line and the skill.
This guy, he has the juice. All right, don't sleep. He's highly competitive, a hard worker, and he has the talent to be a top quarterback. I'm not ready to mail it in. Obviously, CJ Stroud, offensive rookie of the year, led the Texans to the playoffs. Amazing first year. I think everybody expected that from Bryce Young. It didn't happen. The offensive line regressed for the Carolina Panthers. Ickey and Kim Ikwanu, that left tackle who they drafted in the first round ahead of Bryce, he regressed. So I think right now, I think Bryce was sacked more than any other quarterback. If not, he was in that, he was competing with a few others for that title. So if you can't protect your quarterback, you can't expect him to excel. So I think that's one of Canales' first jobs, figure out what guys on the roster you want to keep on the offensive line and scheme so that they'll be able to keep Bryce upright and figure out how to get the best out of him. I think that's why they hired him, because of his success in Seattle. And then
Russell Wilson and also
Baker Mayfield.
Recently, and Baker Mayfield and him and Bryce are about the same size. They're very small
Baker's
guys.
a little thicker.
Because he's been in the weight room.
Right.
This
Baker's
guy Bryce Young got to get in the weight room.
He's not gonna lift though.
To me,
he better lift, because he's not going to be around long if he don't lift. All those guys, they look like that when they're rookie year, because they don't have a time to train. They go right to the draft and go to all these events and things, and they don't have their regular regimen. So their second to third year, that's when because that's how Baker Mayfield looked his first. So he was a thin guy. But once they get in there and bulk him up during the offseason, he'll look totally different when he comes to training camp. I guarantee you.
Reminiscent of Tua Tagovailoa, the Miami Dolphins.
Yes, that's another one. That's another one. Yeah.
Former Alabama quarterback, and it seems like now those Alabama quarterbacks, you just need too much around them. You know what I mean? It's like you have to invest in too much around them. To be a first round pick, I'm just not sure if it's worth the investment at this point. I'm just thinking like maybe, you know, getting a guy like a CJ or even a Justin Fields who, you know, he's not winning, but you see the talent is there on the field. You know, he needs to go to another organization.
Or a rollout. Or I thought they made a mistake of keeping Bryce Young in the pocket. I thought they should have been rolling him out, play action, roll him out so he could see the field. He don't have to worry about nobody batting the ball down because he done rolled out of the pocket. And then that way he has to make the decision where you're going with the football and get rid of the ball. And all rookies hold the ball too long.
Yeah.
It takes them a while to get used to the speed of the game or the NFL game and get rid of the ball. And my concern is you're drafting. What's that Joe Horn's son that's the defensive back? He can't stay on the field. Well, what's his name? I can't think of
Jason Horn.
because he ain't on the field. I can't think of Jason Horn. If Jason Horn can If JC can come back and stay on the field and produce, you just need guys that can stay on the field and help this Carolina Panther team overall out. Because you have a good nucleus. The kid Brown, I saw him at Auburn. Derek Brown, and he's doing just like he did in Auburn. He can force the pocket, push it back. You just need a couple other rushers that can work with Brown and close the pocket down on their opponents. But on the offensive side, the offensive line is the key. Get him a line and roll him out a little bit. And I think Canales will probably do some quick passing, 2-step, 3-step drops with him.
Yeah, I think that, you know, and you mentioned getting Bryce to roll out more, getting him out of the pocket. Those are when he made some of his most impressive throws. And that's what he did in Alabama. He was one of those guys, he wasn't in the pocket, or he was, and he saw an opportunity to kind of move, shift things, kind of make the defense react to his movement and allow his receivers more time. That's when he excelled. And so I do think that you'll see him do more of that. But also that receiving group for the Carolina Panthers this season was subpar.
Okay.
Subpar. If Adam Thielen is your wide receiver one, there's a problem. And that's no knock on Adam Thielen, because, you know, being you know, he knows being an old head in the locker room, to have the production that he had was great. But that's not who you want as your wide receiver one. Adam Thielen needs to be wide receiver 3. He's your third down, short down wide receiver.
Right.
They need to add more speed in that wide receiver room so that you have a downfield threat. And they need to. That's going to be key. Offensive line and weapons. You can find a good running back. You can scheme for running backs, but they got to add some speed to that wide receiver room and to give Bryce more weapons.
Absolute. And how can people follow you?
Or you can follow at Keep Blitzing on Twitter. CarolinaBlitz.com is where you'll find all of our written content, and Carolina Blitz on Instagram, YouTube as well. So yeah, follow us. We're social.
All right, there you go. Thank you so much for coming on Real Deal Sports Show. Remember, it's live on YouTube right now. Check it out. Subscribe, like, share. Keep it up. On Stage Plus Productions as well. Got it out on Roku and all the other social media platforms out here. So keep back. We'll be right back with our next guest. Thank you for watching Real Deal Sports Show. All right, where do we go?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for listening.
I had a feeling you.